Hey there, and welcome to Facial Features Section 6. This is working on the nose. And with this, we've just got one image, and we're going to just talk a little bit about what we're going to be doing here. Noses are pretty simple. Like, you're only going to run into a couple of issues here, and the biggest issue you're going to run into is like straightening up the nose. So that's what we're going to focus on right now. I'm going to go ahead and bring a guide from the left to the right to kind of get an idea of where the nose might be centered. And with this, you can see that the nose is kind of like leaning off to the left a little bit there. So what we're going to do is we're going to create, basically, we're just going to be pushing this nose over here to the right and straightening it up a little bit. And we're going to do that using the Liquify tool. Alright, so let's go ahead and remove our guides. I'm going to duplicate our background layer. There we go. And I'm going to make a selection around the area that we wish to adjust. And we're going to go to Filter, down here to Liquify. Okay, now I'm going to zoom out. It doesn't help to be zoomed in here because I really want to work with like symmetry and shape and things like that, and being zoomed out just helps. Okay, now I'm going to choose a large brush here and basically just start with the bottom and start moving this nose to the right a little bit, just little by little, until we get something that's a little bit more straight on. And it shouldn't take a lot, guys. Alright, that's actually looking quite a bit better already. Next, I'm going to make the brush a little bit smaller, and we're just going to pull the nose in just a little bit there. Alright, let's pull it out at the bridge just a little bit, just making it nice and even and symmetrical. Alright, there we go, and we'll pull that out just a little bit there as well. Alright, push that up, and that one too. Alright, that looks pretty good. We still need to bring the bulb of the nose to the right just a little bit. Alright. Cool. And that looks good there. Let's bring that up just a little bit. Alright, there we go. So there's the before and the after. You know what? I think I adjusted that too much. Let's go back to the before. I'm going to hit Shift Command X, which is the keyboard shortcut for Liquify. And now we're just going to do it again, because I went a little bit overboard. That happens. Just get in the Liquify tool and start playing around, and before you know it, you get a whole new person. There we go. Alright, and let's hit OK. There we go. Now this actually, you know what, that affected more than the nose, so I just want to do it again. We'll make our brush a little bit smaller this time. Start bringing these things to the right. Generally you want to choose a large brush if you can, because it's going to help move a lot at the same time and make things look a lot more fluid. But it turned out that I was moving the eyes as well, which I don't want to do. I just want to work on his nose. Alright. There we go. Perfect. That looks great. Alright, so you can see sometimes it takes a couple goes. Alright, the next thing we're going to do, I'm going to zoom in here, and I'm going to use my clone stamp tool. We're going to take care of the highlight. This is another thing that happens quite a bit with noses. We're going to take care of the highlight using the clone stamp tool. So S for the clone stamp tool. Okay, you want to make sure you're sampling current and below here. And I'm going to change my layer blend mode from normal down to darken. Alright, so we're going to sample this color, and then I'm just going to paint right over top of the bridge of the nose. Yeah, basically just sampling a different part of the face. Alright, and that should help knock the highlight down just a bit. Alright. Cool. And if you make any areas that you don't like, just hit E for the eraser tool and erase them. No big deal. Next, we can get rid of some of these like little pores and things like that. That can be done easily enough using our healing brush tool. So we'll go in, hold Alt or Option to sample an area, and then paint right over any little pores or imperfections or whatever you have on your nose. Alright, and you don't have to make everything perfect. I mean, it's not, we don't live in a perfect world. There we go. That looks really, really good there. Okay, very nice. Now, the last thing you may run into is a little bit of like color change in your nose. So, for instance, oftentimes noses will be like a little bit more red than the rest of a person. So with that, we're going to do my favorite new technique, the solid color adjustment layer. Alright, we're going to change this from normal down to color. It really doesn't matter what color you start it with here, guys. Alright, I'm going to hit Controller Command I to invert. And we're going to see if I can color the nose to match the rest of the face. I love the technique so you can just see what you're doing. Alright, color. Alright, you just basically just keep moving your hue down to like where it starts matching the face. So like greens, nope. Yellows, nope. Orange, so getting closer. Too saturated. Let's bring the color right down there. Alright, our hue we're going to have to come down a little bit more. Still too saturated, huh? Well, it's getting pretty good. Alright, let's go a little bit more saturated there. Our hue coming up and down till we find just right. That looks pretty good there. Alright. There we go. And choose right about the right saturation. There we go. That looks pretty good. So again, this is one of the things, it's going to be different for every single image, every single face that you do, right? So, next thing we're going to do is just lower the opacity, because when you color a person's face, especially like that, it's just really easy to go overboard. Plus, you can see it's coloring the shadows the same color as the highlights, and we don't really want that. So we're just going to lower the opacity to about 50%, and that's going to help even out the color on the nose. Alright, for that matter, we could probably just do that over his whole face, and well, nope, it's definitely not going to work because it does not look good anywhere else. Alright, I bet it would work under his eyes though. Let's try it. On our layer mask here, I'm going to paint with white on my layer mask. Go under his eyes. See how it's a little bit like purplish, grayish? Paint this visible under his eyes. Alright, and then we have nice skin tone color under the eyes instead of like purple grayish color, which actually worked out really, really well. Okay, perfect. Let's go ahead and look at the before and the after. Here's our before and our after. Before and the after. And again, if any of these are like too much, simply lower the opacity. Like this. I kind of liked a little bit of shine, and I liked a little bit more color. There we go. Before and the after. Alright, looking good. And that completes section 6, working with the nose.